Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going on an awesome adventure to explore some of the strangest foods from around the world. We're talking about delicacies that might make you go, wait, people actually eat that? Get ready to be amazed by these unique and unusual dishes. Let's dig in! First up, we're heading over to the Philippines for a dish called balut. Okay, imagine this, a fertilized duck egg. But here's the twist. It's incubated for a few weeks, allowing the embryo to develop inside. It's then boiled and eaten right out of the shell. Can you imagine cracking open an egg and seeing a partially formed duckling? It's definitely not your average breakfast food. Balut is a popular street food in the Philippines and is said to be quite nutritious. Would you be brave enough to try it? Next, we're off to Iceland, the land of glaciers and volcanoes, to try a dish called hakkarl. Now, hakkarl is fermented shark meat. But not just any shark meat. We're talking about Greenland shark, which is poisonous when fresh. To make hakkarl, the shark meat is buried underground for several weeks to ferment, which helps to neutralize the toxins. The result? A pungent delicacy with a strong ammonia smell. I've heard it described as tasting like a very strong cheese, but with a chewy, almost rubbery texture. Now let's take a trip to Sardinia, Italy, for a cheese that's not for the faint of heart, casu marzu. This traditional Sardinian cheese is made from sheep's milk and gets its unique flavor from a special ingredient, live insect larvae. That's right, tiny maggots are intentionally introduced to the cheese and they break down the fats, giving it a soft, creamy texture. Casu marzu is actually considered illegal to sell commercially because of health concerns, but it's still enjoyed by some adventurous eaters in Sardinia. Would you dare to try this cheesy delicacy? Get ready to hold your noses because our next stop is Sweden, where we're trying surströmming. This fermented herring is notorious for its powerful odor. Surströmming is made by fermenting Baltic herring in barrels for months, allowing it to develop a strong, pungent smell that some say resembles rotten eggs or sewage. It's often eaten outdoors because, well, the smell can linger for days. Despite its aroma, surströmming is considered a delicacy in Sweden and is traditionally eaten on thin bread with potatoes and onions. Our next adventure takes us to Mexico, where we're trying a delicacy known as escamoles. Now, don't let the name fool you, but escamoles are actually ant larvae. They're harvested from the roots of agave plants and are considered a delicacy in Mexican cuisine. Escamoles have a slightly nutty, buttery flavor and are often compared to cottage cheese in texture. You can find them in tacos, omelets, or even served with guacamole. Hold on tight because we're heading to South Korea for a dish that's not for the faint of heart, sanakji. This dish features live octopus, cut into small pieces and served immediately. The tentacles are still wriggling on the plate when you eat it. The challenge? Making sure those suction cups don't stick to your mouth on the way down. Sanakji is definitely an experience, and it's important to chew it thoroughly to avoid any choking hazards. Our next stop takes us to China, where we're trying a dish called century egg, also known as a preserved egg. Now, despite the name, century eggs aren't actually a century old. They're made by preserving duck, chicken, or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls for several weeks to months. This process transforms the eggs, turning the yolk a dark green or gray color and giving them a pungent, ammonia-like aroma. They're often eaten as a delicacy or used in congee, a type of rice porridge. Get ready for a sensory overload because we're off to Southeast Asia to try the king of fruits, durian. This fruit is famous for its incredibly strong odor, which has been described as a mix of rotten onions, gym socks, and sewage. It's so pungent that it's actually banned in many public places in Southeast Asia. But despite its smell, durian is beloved by many for its creamy texture and sweet custard-like flavor. Our next culinary adventure takes us to Japan for a dish that's truly a matter of life or death. Fugu. Fugu is the Japanese word for pufferfish, a highly toxic creature that contains tetrodotoxin, a deadly poison. In Japan, only licensed chefs who have undergone years of rigorous training are allowed to prepare fugu. They carefully remove the toxic parts of the fish, leaving only the edible flesh. Fugu is considered a delicacy in Japan, and people say the taste is delicate and slightly sweet. Our final stop takes us back to Mexico for a dish that's both strange and delicious, huitlacoche. Now, you might be surprised to learn that huitlacoche is actually a fungus that grows on corn. It's also known as corn smut, but don't let that deter you. Huitlacoche has a savory, earthy flavor and a texture that's often compared to mushrooms. It's a popular ingredient in Mexican cuisine and can be found in quesadillas, soups, and stews. Wow, what a wild ride through the world of strange and unusual foods. From fermented shark to live octopus, we've seen it all. I hope you enjoyed this culinary adventure as much as I did. Which of these foods would you be brave enough to try? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome food adventures.